from Virginia's 7th District, the Majority Leader in the House of Representatives, our old friend Congressman Cantor is here with us now. Good morning, Congressman Cantor.
It's good to be with you.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
You look good. So.
Thank you. You too.
Well, thank you. I was of course, explaining to Congressman Cantor about my cancer. Well, he asked me if I was still eating radishes, so I said, yeah I was. So. Anyway, so what's going on now with Medicare? You guys want to do what and what? Everybody's upset. What?
Oh, yeah, listen.
Explain it to me. I really don't understand. And
Well, Imus, we got a debt crisis in the country.
Right.
And people, I think, are waking up to the fact that this federal government of ours has spent entirely too much money we don't have. And the imperative for us right now is to start to manage the money we do more prudently. But first and foremost, we got to pay attention to the numbers, and it's the arithmetic that does not lie. And here's what's going on with Medicare. Promises have been made, and frankly, are not going to be able to be fulfilled if we don't change what's going on with the entitlement programs. You've got, now the situation is this: 10,000 additional baby boomers a day are becoming eligible for the entitlement programs. A day. You remember when Social Security began, the life expectancy on average was 60 years old.
Yeah.
It's now 79 years old. You then have the demographics.
Start bumping some people off or something.
Right. Well, and so
then what you guys want to do is kill people and no,
not
listen,
kill them.
But
I'm going back to the arithmetic here.
Okay.
Doesn't lie. And you've got health care costs that have inflated much, much more quickly than inflation or wage rates, probably 3 times the rate over the last 10 years. You can't afford this safety net the way it stands because, frankly, it's become a safety net for people who don't need it, not for those who need it.
Well, I sort of understand all that, and you're almost stating the obvious. I realize you got to talk slow for me, but what is it you guys want to do? That I was reading in the paper this morning that these various Republican groups all over the country are upset at you guys for wanting to, in their words, dismantle Medicare and make it something that.
What we're saying is
so. What is it you want to do to Medicare?
What we're saying is this: because we want to preserve the social safety net for those who need it, we're saying for all those who are seniors today and those nearing retirement, that means 55 and older, there'll be no change in the programs. But for the rest of us, those of us 54 and younger, we are proposing to change these programs so that you deal with the math, and so that we say this. We're going to have a program by the time I reach eligibility age that will essentially allow me to have a choice, just like I do now as a federal employee, just as most people do who operate in an environment of a group health care coverage, where you have an option, you're given an amount of money to go choose your plan of health care and that best suits your needs.
It sounds like a trick.
Well, it's not a trick. What it is essentially saying that we're going to be about trying to impose some type of safety net for people who need it, and for the rest of us, it's essentially like saying you're going to have a defined contribution plan now. You're not going to have a defined benefit plan.
Well, do people, though, look at it? This is a plan they paid into. So do they now look at it that they're not going to get their money's worth?
Well, I don't blame people for being frustrated because you're right. This government, people who have continued to promise things that now they're not being able to keep, are frankly in a tough spot. But I think those of us who are trying to be honest and say the math doesn't lie, this is reality. You're right. People are upset because they paid in and been promised something, and now the government's not fulfilling it.
Oh, good. So on bad factor.
No, it's good. Yeah. Listen, but
19 to the hour. We're talking with. I'm sorry, but. Talking with Congressman Cantor here in the Imus Morning Program. Well, why not just repeal the Bush tax cuts? Start there. Except for rich people. I don't mind having. I'm for that, by the way. Tax cut for rich people. I'm for tax cut for everybody. About it.
Look, there's 2 parts to this debate right now that we're engaging in.
Isn't that what the Democrats want to do?
Well, yeah, absolutely. You hear it every day.
Yeah. But what is wrong with that idea?
Well, right now the contention is that
it makes sense, doesn't it? No.
Well, no. I mean, the contention is that's going to solve all our problems.
Well, some of them.
Well, listen, what you're saying is right now we need people who are willing to go create jobs to do that. We need small business people to do that. The so-called Bush tax cuts apply to people at $250,000 and up. We know the numbers there say that at least half of the people who would experience a tax hike get at least 26% of their income from small businesses, meaning those are the small business people. So if we're looking for more jobs to be created, why are you turning around and then imposing a tax on small business people? We know that cutting taxes for small businesses will end up creating more jobs. So,
well, how about making people like GE pay taxes?
Listen, I'm for that as well. Okay, and this is also got.
Oh, no, you're not. You're not really for that.
I'm all for that as well because
you're in here trying to jerk the Imus chain. I know what you're doing, baby. Because you know I'm half paying attention.
No, never come in here and jerk your chain.
I mean, that's insane that they don't pay any taxes. And there's a lot of other corporations.
Do you know why that's the case?
No.
Because there are
the Democrats, right?
No.
Bill Clinton did it.
No, it is
the big dog.
Although I'd love to blame it on him. Right,
yeah.
That's right. No, the honest answer is the tax code's full of preferential treatment for certain industries, certain sort of business experience that has been put in along the way. And it's the nature of that town, and that's what we're trying to change. And what we believe in our budget says, let's have a pro-growth tax system, let's lower rates, let's broaden the base, and get rid of the special interest loopholes. Yeah. Okay, I don't think anybody's opposed to that. The president says he's for tax reform, too. So instead of
why don't you guys do that?
Well, absolutely.
Repeal the Bush tax cuts, jump on GE.
Well, no.
And not be bumping off to old people. I'm one of them.
Imus. Now, again, nobody's bumping off any old people.
And end these stupid wars we're in.
Nobody's bumping off any old people. What we're saying is nobody 55 and older has any change to the programs.
I mean, even you agree we got no business in Libya, got no business in Afghanistan, got no business in Iraq.
I got a problem with the administration's policy in Libya for sure, and I don't know what it is.
It's the Bush policy.
I don't know
what it is. It's Bush policy.
Well, it's the Obama administration right now. So I don't get what the purpose is here. If we're on a humanitarian mission, what mission is that now that we are stepping up activity?
Bingo.
And you've got it, and Gaddafi's not the only maniacal tyrant in that region killing innocent people. Look what's going on in Syria right now.
It's one at 5 o'clock on Fox. So. Anyway, it's 15 till the hour. Morning program. Somebody told me you didn't like Boehner.
No, I like Boehner. Come on.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I read someplace where you were up. You were annoyed that he was acting like a pansy, breaking down, crying all the time and all that? Or
no.
Because it doesn't look like whenever you're standing behind him, because you're the majority leader, of course he's the speaker, and I'm a good reader of body language. And of course you're an iFave, so and he's not. But
listen,
it doesn't look to me like you're enamored of him.
Listen, I am a good friend of John Boehner's. He and I have worked together.
Never been
for
to his
several
house?
Years. Never been to his
no,
house.
No, of course not.
No, never been.
Have you ever been out to dinner with him? Just you and him?
Just he,
no.
Just he and I. We've had lunch together.
Yeah, no dinner.
I don't think we've
happened
had dinner.
to be in a mess all together.
I don't think we've had dinner. But I will say, yeah, we've certainly had plenty of dinners. I'm trying to think we've had them one-on-one without others there.
Yeah.
But I would say this. John Boehner and I work together in the minority. We're working together in the majority. He and I, obviously different people, but really share the same goal. And he's been a business person. I've been a business person. We have a very good working relationship where I believe we're moving the ball forward. And we've been through some tough deals with this White House.
Wouldn't you like to be Speaker?
No, I'm not in this to be Speaker. I'm really in
You're telling me you wouldn't like to be Speaker?
Oh, sure. Well, listen.
Of course you would.
Well, listen, anybody.
And another thing, how about getting you out of the House and over to the Senate where you belong?
Sure. No.
You don't need to be out there with a bunch of people who ought to be in jail.
Sure. Listen. I am not. I really believe that we are in a moment in time right now where we've got to make sure we're setting aside all that kind of stuff and dismissing the palace intrigue that much of the press is about, because we are about trying to really change the culture there.
Well, you're right about that.
And that's why we were elected. We were elected to try and change that culture so the economy can come back, and you get Washington out of so much of the economy today and put it back in its rightful balance with the private sector.
Final question. Do you have any interest at all, digressing here like a drunk at Maureen Dowd's Christmas party, any interest in a royal wedding?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that, listen, it's all fun, and there's a lot of attention being thrown on the royal wedding. I wish the new royal couple all the best.
Do you have any children?
I have 3 children.
Do you have any daughters?
I do.
Well, so you've got a daughter. Might want to grow up to marry a prince, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, you could be into that.
I'm sure. I'm sure she would like to marry a prince, and she's always a princess. So.
Well, why not? All right, man. Nice to see you. Thanks.
Right.
Thanks for being a good sport and all that. It's Tron. Thanks for telling me about Boehner and how much you love him. 12 minutes now till the hour.